Hi guys, welcome to Cranble. Today we're going to make some Portuguese tarts, but they're not Portuguese tarts, they're our little spin on Portuguese tarts. I said Portuguese tarts quite a lot. They're puff pastry based, a beautiful creme brulee centre and a nice brittle sugar to go on top. Really easy to do, find the recipe on cranble.com. First job, we need to get this cream onto the boil. So I'm using double cream here. You can use whipping cream, but you'll be stood over the stove for ages cooking. I'm also going to use this vanilla bean paste. It's readily available at many supermarkets and it saves the faff of having to buy expensive vanilla pods. So I'm going to put like a teaspoon's worth into my cream. Up to the boil. In the meantime, I'm going to separate my eggs because we only want yolks for this. I'm not even yolking. So get rid of the whites, get the egg yolks. So I'm going to chuck 5 egg yolks in this mix. And then we're going to go in with some caster sugar. You want about 60 grams in this because that vanilla sugar is quite sweet. 60 grams. And then we want to get this whisked together. You don't have to go too hard. You just want to make sure all that sugar's dissolved. And then once the cream's come to the boil, we're going to pour the cream onto our yolks and then we're going to go back into the pan to cook it out. So while we're waiting for that cream to boil, we're going to do something a bit special with our puff pastry. So I've just bought ready-made puff pastry rolled because it's easier and I'm lazy most of the time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sprinkle this with sugar and cinnamon. So be quite liberal with this, okay? So plenty of sugar on there. And then a dusting of cinnamon, okay? Awesome. Now we're going to roll this up. Oh, it smells awesome already, like sweet cinnamon. So we're just going to roll this up this way, like so. See what we're getting at? See where I'm going to? Can you guess what it is yet? And then I'm going to cut them. See what I'm doing now? So what that's going to give us is an amazing swirl of cinnamon. Now, once you've got them to that stage, you want to lightly flour your surface. So get some flour on that and then sit it upright and push it down with the palm of your hand. And then you want to get your rolling pin. Just roll it out like that. And then you'll start to see, although it's not very clear, you'll start to see the circle of cinnamon sugar that we've got going on there, which will form the base for our tart. Okay, so squash them down, give them a little roll. What will happen is that sugar and cinnamon will caramelise when it goes in the oven and you're going to get that beautiful, sweet, tangy, delicious, almost like a donut-y flavour. Right, done. Now, every utensil a Yorkshireman should have in his cupboard is a Yorkshire pudding tray. So for extra caramelisation, I'm going to rub the inside of these with butter and then I'm going to put sugar in there as well. So not only do we have that cinnamon sugar on the inside of our pastry, we've also got caramelised sugar on the outside. So you can see all the sugar stuck to the butter. Amazing. So then these just go in there like so. And they kind of become uniform when you put them in, but they're sticking over a little bit, like it totally doesn't matter. I quite like that. So that's what you want them looking like. I'm going to pop them in the fridge now. So our cream's up to the boil now. So we're going to pour this onto our egg yolks. You've got to keep it moving all the time. Always, when you're working with hot liquid and egg yolks, pour the liquid onto the eggs, not the other way around. So make sure it's all off the bottom of the bowl. And then back into the pan. Now, this is where your patience comes in, because believe me when I say, this is the boring bit. You've literally got to stand and stir, keeping it moving all the time, making sure that it doesn't boil. Because if it boils, you might as well chuck it in the bin because your egg yolks will just scramble and it's no good to anybody. You want to take it to the point just before boiling, late 80s, early 90s degrees C. You can tell when it's up to temperature, ready to take off, because it'll coat the back of a spoon. And what I mean by that is when you run your finger through it, it'll coat. See, that's falling. When this is cooked, it'll coat the back of the spoon, and then we know we're good to go. So that's the stage we want it to get to, nice and thick. See, coats the back of the spoon. Just in case the corners have caught a little bit, I'm going to pop it through a sieve now. And what we want to do is just cool it down a little bit before we pop it in those lovely little puff pastry tart cases we've made. Quickest way to do this is either over a ball of ice or in a shallow tray into the fridge or the freezer, and that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. So our custard is good to go. So that's just going to go into a jug. Look at that nice thick custard base. Custard ready to go. Tart cases, so they firmed up nice. So now we just got to fill these bad boys up and get them in the oven. Simple. Pour them in about 2/3 of the way up, nice and thick that, and this won't take long to cook. I'm going to cook it on a low heat so it doesn't scramble the eggs. Oh, hello, perfect amount. We're going to go into low temperature oven, 120, 130 for about 20 minutes. Okay, so those tarts have been in the oven for about 30 minutes. Let's have a little look at them. Beautiful. So the egg's just risen and then it started to sink again. And they've just started to caramelise slightly on the top. Absolutely delicious. So for me, they're perfect. Once they've chilled, they'll be even better. If you want to try it for yourself, check the recipe out on cranble.com.